A little deeper. Now I'm using my thumbs reinforced. So if you can see that space in between these two thumbs when I put them together, if I raise one, the bones actually interlock. Look at that. That bones, either one way or the other, the bones interlock. Mutually reinforcing or bones interlocking is a nice way to do double thumbs. And again, your thumbs and your wrists and thumbs are relatively aligned and they're interlocked. So the bones are mutually supportive. I'm not sitting here doing this with my thumbs, stressing this joint out, stressing that joint out in a hyperextended way and putting stress on this joint as well. So it's behind it and it's locked. Now, can I do the covered fingers? Can I do a covered thumb? Oh, absolutely. It's the same thing. Again, I'm going to use the hypothenar eminence on top of the thumb. And now I'm actually relaxing my right hand and using my left hand covering over top of the thumb. I can also cover over the thumb in between the two pisiform bones and locking the thumb here so that I can use the thumb in a more straight line as well. And you can mix and match. So I'll go through and work the spine much deeper with the thumb now in several different ways. This way and this way. I like these shortened strokes in this situation because when I pull back, I allow my body to relax. So I'm not staying in a constant state of tension. I'm acting a little bit and relaxing a little bit within my body. Allows me to do a lot more work over a longer period of time. Now I can use two fingers. Relaxing the right hand, using the left. I can use my thumb and switch off. So now I can use my fingers, my thumbs. I can switch with my fingers and my thumbs on the other side. So now I'm not just stressing one part of the movement, not stressing one part of my body too much. I can even switch fingers to the rear fingers, the last two fingers. Okay, so now I'm reinforcing my fingers, reinforcing my thumb, reinforcing my fingers, giving my body a time to relax. It would be like, how many more push-ups and sit-ups and squats and jumping jacks can you do if you kept switching as opposed to burning one of them out? Right? So that's something we can do. Next. Integrating a little bit. Now, next, I'm going to use what I call the panther fist. Looks like a panther, rolls up like this, comes together, and my bones again interlock. They don't just match up perfectly. If you offset them, the bones lock. And all my bones locking together in this fashion, finding the perfect fit in my bones, I'm actually using this part of my knuckles on her back, and there's no pressure on my center knuckles. My center knuckles are not going down her spine and her center process, her spinous process. I'm actually using the middle knuckles and the ring fingers. My first knuckles are actually off of her spine. They're all pressing together, and now I'm using more of my middle knuckles. As you can see here, what's making the grooves is my middle knuckles and my ring finger and my pinky fingers. And that's along the supraspinous, longissimus, and iliocostalis muscles here. It's an easy way to stretch out the fingers after doing this. Now I'm doing this with my fingers, stretching them in the opposite way. So now I'm using my body, my hands, in a different fashion that allows me to stretch them in the opposite position of this. So, panther fist. Next, an even deeper maneuver is now the gorilla fist, which is simply one more in. Now, instead of stressing the knuckles out this way from regular massage, now I'm stretching the knuckles out in the opposite fashion. So now I've got, come over to this side a little bit from behind. I offset my hands so that they're not perfectly symmetrical, so that the bones lock, and I can grab one thumb or I can grab the other thumb and interlock the bones or keep them loose and roll. So you can see now how I'm rolling this tissue. Nice, another technique. So now you've got a whole variety of different techniques that you can switch off with constantly so that you don't stress or burn out any one technique of your body. I want to come back to doing on either side of the spine, split spine, or come to one side of the spine, or use my thumb on one side. Remember, I'm relaxing my right. I'm only using my left to push downwards. Now, another technique is reinforced fingers. So we have the pressing of the hand on the thumb, the pressing of the fingers. We have the panther fist. We have the gorilla fist, which is really nice to stretch it out. The opposite is two hands. So now I can use two hands on top of each other to help use just that stronger and deeper effleurage pattern. I can even come up to the covered fist where I'm again using this, or I could use fingertips on fingertips. A little bit stronger, but it's a nice opposite of gorilla fist, where my hands are going this way, my hands are now going that way. So it's a nice little stretch. I don't use this a lot where I put two fingers on top, but it's nice a little bit just to help my body stay strong and good while I'm doing a lot of work on other people. I used to work in a triathletes, clinic for triathletes, chiropractor for triathletics. And so there was a lot of athletes with a lot of working out, very strong bodies. So they really wanted a lot of deep work. And so I was doing, anywhere up to 9 massages a day, really deep and intense work like this. And so I really had to perfect a way to do that kind of work without hurting my own body. Like I said, I've never gotten injured doing massage over time for years and years and years of a lot of work. And I would say that it was a lot due to the concepts I've learned in the martial arts world, especially the Kung Fu world, that added to keeping the body healthy. Okay, here's the double thumb pattern. This takes a lot of extra work. I don't recommend doing too much of this. Again, it's not really reinforced, but notice that it's not like this. They're together and they're mutually reinforcing. The bones are coming together in this pattern. And if you like to do a little thumb work, this is a good way. I don't like to do too much of it, but it's nice to offset once in a while. All right. Now that we've worked this, time to work this. So the covered thumb is a different version of the covered thumb. Instead of doing this, it's hard to do that in this little triangular area here, where the traps are, the levator scapula, those sort of muscles. What I like doing is covering with these 3 fingers or 4 fingers, however your hands fit, and doing a covered thumb so that my thumb is this joint and this joint aren't working at all. These fingers are pressing into the thumb, doing most of the work, the 3 fingers mutually reinforcing as I work this area here, the triangular area. So by changing my footwork pattern, I can change the angle that I'm working on her just a little bit at a time. I shift for that triangle, a little bit at a time, I shift. That way I can hit those muscle fibers in multiple directions. And it's a really deep feel that thoroughly gets this area. We can detail it more and get into the deeper aspects. But again, this is sort of a basic shotgun massage. I'm not going into the depth of, say, rehabilitation, although this can be extremely rehabilitative. Look at the blood surface, the opposite side here. And again, somewhere at least 15 reps is usually a pretty good amount, especially in this little triangular area we're working on. 15 reps gets a nice flush going. All right, now we got a different version of that covered thumb. I can